Welcome and good snowy Wednesday morning, everyone. Glad to have you along here from wherever it is you're joining us from. Hope wherever it is it's safe and warm and you're not trying to drive somewhere on this wild morning here today. Or if you have driven, that you got there safely. My name is Randy Lober, Growth Marketing Manager here at Action Benefits, and pleased to welcome you all along for today's session where we'll take a look at some compliance rules during the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period that is just around the corner. And you're all like, "What? I just finished AEP." And we're all like, "What? We just finished AEP." And that was super busy and lots of work to do. But there is more work depending on how you look at these things, ahead of us. And we want to make sure that we all follow the different compliance rules that come along with those. I know a good few of the names here in the room here today, but want to just make sure we're all level set on what we know so I know how much background we need here. Which of these statements best describes you? Please put the letter that best describes you in our chat. Is it A, you're new to the Medicare market? B, you have some experience in the Medicare market, but you're new to Action Benefits? C, you have some experience with Medicare in action, but could use a bit of a refresher? Or D, you're a seasoned pro, you just love spending time with Action. You figured AEP is over, time to catch up with those folks from Action and see what they're up to. Please put the letter A, B, C, or D in the chat as best describes you. Thank you, Pamela. As a reminder, and thank you for those of you chatting privately, that was my reminder. You can choose whether you want everyone to see your response or just Chelsea and I, who I'll introduce here in just a moment. We're trying things a little bit different here today because someone's got to have fun at this job. Might as well be us. Um, but you can choose with that blue drop down arrow whether you want me and Chelsea to see it or everyone in the room to see it. Those of you here that are here for the refresher, you're here for in the right place. And if you're new to the Medicare market, well, that's good too. You'll know that there's some different rules that we need to attend to coming up as well. Before we get to those rules, though, let's talk about what the MAOEP is. And as seasoned Medicare pros, you know that there are no less than 5 different times that someone can enroll in Medicare coverage. Their initial enrollment period only happens once in a lifetime when they turn 65 and they can enroll in parts A or B. And you know about the 7 month window. I'm not going to beat that horse. GEP, General Enrollment Period, happens during January 1st through March 31st of every year, and that is for folks who might have missed their IEP to enroll in parts A and or B, and then C or D as well, if they would so choose. Special enrollment periods you know all about. AEP you hopefully know all about. Today's topic, though, is MAOEP, Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period, that is really built only for your folks who are already enrolled in the Medicare Advantage plan. And during this time, they can make a one-time change to that MA or MAPD plan, or return to original Medicare with or without a PDP if they so choose. Should mention that it isn't only a one-time change. So it's not like AEP where the last step in is the one that matters. If they're going to make a plan change, maybe because their PPO is, essential closed and they need to go somewhere else, right? Or their PPO essentials benefits got halved in some cases or quartered in some cases and they want to go somewhere else. I think they got one shot to do it, one shot to get it right. Period lasts from January 1st through March 31st, and the coverage that they choose starts on the first of the month after the application. So if they do wait till January 2nd even to get this the application in, their coverage won't be effective till February 1st. But there are some marketing rules that change during the MAOEP about what you can and can't do. And to get there, to help explain those, we're going to have a little bit of a mock game show here. And here is where I'd like to introduce today's contestant on our game show, Chelsea Gomez, our learning and development specialist, but also a really darn good game show contestant here. Chelsea, why don't you say hi to the people before we get started?
Hi, Randy. So thank you for having me on this game show. I'm here to win some money for my family. Uh, Not really. Hi, guys. It's Chelsea. Just trying to do it a little different. We're having some fun here today on some of the rules surrounding MIOEP. So please put any questions you have in the chat, and I will phone friends and get those answers for you. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
And what a show it will be, we hope. All right, your first question. Contestant Gomez. Agent Kirsten Hollard is hopping mad after AEP. She didn't make as much sales as she would have liked. Her book does not look as robust as she wanted to, so she wants to do some advertising during the MAOEP. And she wants to run ads that look and sound and feel like this. Did you know that you can switch Medicare Advantage plans from now through March 31st? Schedule an appointment with me, your agent, Kirsten Hollard, who is hopping mad. It's funny, Kirsten Hollard. Today, can she do that, contestant Gomez? Yes or no? And audience, feel
Okay.
free to weigh in too.
Yeah, feel free to help me out. I don't remember what the three of them were. If I know one was phone a friend and then divide them in half. And anyway, oh, poll the audience. That was the other one. So, I'm going to say, okay, Kristen Holler does not make as many sales as she would like during AEP. She wants to run an ad that reads, "Do you know no, you can't do that because you can't advertise going around saying that you can make changes during this time. It's not like a sales type experience. It's more like the theme, I guess, is more like you're trying to find better fits for those who did not find fits during that time. You're not necessarily like using this time to like sell as like the overarching theme, from my understanding.
Correct. You cannot, that is correct. You cannot use this timeline to target additional sales here. So you cannot run ads that sound or look like that. So no, Kirsten Holler cannot do that. Your second question today, contestant Gomez. Agent Noam Sayan took an inbound call from one of his clients. The client stated they were unhappy with the HMO that they chose during AEP. Noam collects the scope of appointment and informs the client of the MAOEP and the opportunity to change plans during this time. Can he compliantly do that?
I didn't push mute hard enough. Okay. Gnome collects the scope of appointment and informs the client. Yes, because he's with one client and the client came to him. He can't go to the client, but the client came to him and they filled out a scope, then they started talking. So I'm going to say that all of that works, I'm pretty sure.
That is correct. Because the client brought up they were unhappy with the plan or had something to say, right? They were, I need another option here. That gives you the green light to bring up the MAOEP and their opportunity to read that. But you can't make proactive outreach as an agent about the MAOEP. You can, it's like Fight Club, right? The first rule of MAOEP is you can't talk about MAOEP unless someone else talks about it with you first. Next up, Agent Bernadette Bridge couldn't reach all her clients during AEP. She burned a few bridges because she couldn't reach out to them. So instead, she wants to conduct annual plan reviews for the remainder of her clients during the MAOEP. Can she compliantly do that? Contestant Gomez.
It doesn't sound like a good idea in the first place. I would really try to make sure you're getting all your clients in before MIOAP starts, even if you're strategically planning around like plan closures, getting SEPs going that way. I wouldn't do this even if I thought it was okay. She wants to conduct annual plan reviews for the remainder of her clients during. I would say you can't do that.
And you would say
Yes.
that correctly.
How much money am I
So
winning, by the way?
millions, millions are coming your way right now.
Dang it.
Um, but no, she cannot do that because CMS would see that as an opportunity to, or as the agent trying to make additional sales during MAOEP, and that's not what the period is built for. The period is built for, these one time kind of edge cases, special cases where the beneficiary has a stated need to make a plan. So were CMS to see or pick up a pattern of your enrollments coming in, right? That might, especially a large swath of enrollments coming in during MAOEP, that might prompt them to sniff around a little bit and say, "Hey, wait a minute, this agent or these beneficiaries had previously enrolled with this agent beforehand. The AOR didn't change or anything like that. Why is all of a sudden this agent seeing half of their book of business or half their enrollees now here on the back end?" That smells a little fishy, and that triggers the trying to make additional sales case. Agent pickup and drop off. He moonlights as a limo driver. He calls his client to confirm that he got the ID cards from that wonderful new plan enrolled in. Pickup mentions on that call that another plan in the area sold very well and asks his client if he would be interested in switching. So Pickup brings it up first, right? Brings up the plan switch first. Can Pickup do that?
No, if the client called him first, I think it'd be different, but because he's the one picking up the phone and calling and saying, "Hey, did you get your card?" Right? So in this case, I would say that he can't do that. Like unless the unless the client during that phone call was like, which why would the client do that? Why would the client say, "Hey, I heard this plan sold well"? They didn't hear the plan sold well. That wouldn't have happened. So unless they said that they were upset with their plan in some shape or form during this phone call that pick up and drop off initiated, unless that happened, I would say no, he can't do this.
And you would
Yes.
be correct in this case. So you hit it right on the head there, right? So the agent can absolutely call out, do their first quarter follow up, say, did you get your ID cards? Did you get all your plan documents? Does everything look good here? But they can't the agent themselves can't proactively bring up another plan on that call. However, if the beneficiary were to say, yeah, I got my ID card, but my doctor dropped out of network all of a sudden, and now I can't find anyone to do that. Or my drugs aren't covered the way we thought they were because the formulary changed on 1/1. Or I'm unhappy with this HMO product. Any of those things that express dissatisfaction with the plan give you, the agent, the green light to start talking about the MAOEP and start talking about something else. Customer Lauren Order asks her agent, Pat Pending, if she is stuck in her plan until October 15th. So Lauren calls Pat. She's a little, not quite as happy with her plan. Am I stuck here? Do I have to stay here until October 15th and really until the first of next year? Pat listens to that. She hears that. She hears maybe a sound of dissatisfaction in Lauren's voice. And so Pat shares information about the MAOEP with Lauren. Can Pat compliantly do that on the call?
I would say yes, so long as it sounds like in this situation, the client is initiating this conversation. So as long as that's the case, I would say yes, because then they're not, the agent isn't coming to them and saying, "Oh, are you upset that you're stuck in your plan until the 15th?" That would be no. But since it sounds like Lauren is calling Pat and saying, "Hey, is this for real? Am I really stuck with this until October 15th?" Pat could then go, "Actually, no, you're not. You can actually make one switch or whatever." So I think that sounds like you can do that.
And that is also exactly correct for all the reasons you said here. Because the beneficiary brought up the plan change and brought the possibility of the brand plan change, that's okay, but the agent can't proactively bring that up on the call. Agent Russell Upsomgrub, he doubles as a caterer. He wants to market his agency's Medicare 101 on February 15th. So right here in this MAC of MAOEP, he wants to advertise particularly to people who are aging into Medicare and say, come to my Medicare 101, learn about the program. And he wants to use Facebook ads, inviting people who are aging in or who wants to know more about Medicare in general. He wants to use those Facebook ads to draw attendance to his event. Can he do that during MAOEP?
It doesn't feel wrong. I'm worried you're tricking me though. It feels right. Like I feel like you can do this because it's not mentioning like any changes, and you can do Medicare 101, so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna say you can do it.
And you can. So you can continue all your other marketing activities, right, during MAOEP. You can do Medicare 101s. You can run your own ads for your agency. You can do everything else you want to do. You just can't target MAOEP explicitly in the ads and tell people they have opportunities to make plan switches. Now, if during the course of your Medicare 101 you happen to uh, go through that script, you educate people about all their enrollment opportunities, including the MAOEP, and then someone raises their hand and says, wait a minute, can I make a plan switch? That's okay, so long as you follow the no scope of appointment at the educational event rule and the 48-hour rule afterward. But yes, that would be a compliant mention of the MAOEP because it's part of that Medicare 101 presentation. Next up, an agent wants to call their client. Upton left us and enrolled with another agent during AEP. That agent would like to enroll Upton in a different plan with the same carrier. Want to make sure, do right by the client, make sure the doctors and drugs are covered the same, but he wants to try to recover that sale, get that customer Upton back in his book and off that other agent's book. Can the agent compliantly make contact with someone who Upton left us?
Uh, I don't think that has anything to do with MAOEP though. Like he just can't do that regardless, right?
Well, specifically, he can't do it with someone who he knows disenrolled. So you're right, but not for all the right, not for the completely right reasons,
Yes.
if that makes sense. So specifically, you can't make contact with someone who you know is actively disenrolling from a plan. That's specifically outlawed in the CMS guidelines here, and nor can but you can outside of MAOEP, right? If you want to check in with someone in June, July, and say, "Hey, heard you went somewhere else. You got a new plan. Is how's that working out for you?" That's okay. You can make that outreach so long as you still have that valid consent to contact. Um, but you cannot make that same kind of contact during AEP or MAOEP here. Agent Dewey or don't he calls his client in January, and on that call during that first part of his first quarter follow-up, he mentions a hospital indemnity plan could offset some of the costs of those inpatient hospital copays that are now like $475 for 7 days, depending on the plan. They aren't great by any means, but Dewey or don't he says, "Hey, there's a way I can help you solve that on the call." Can Dewey do that?
Can he offer hospital indemnity? I would, he can, right? Because it has not, like there, it has nothing to do with the plan switches that that person might do within MAOEP. So hospital indemnity, you can just do that. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he can. So it's not a Medicare product, right? Yes, it's an ancillary product built to supplement the Medicare Advantage plan. And if you were to present the hospital indemnity during a Medicare appointment, you would need the ancillary items box checked on the scope of appointment. But during MAOEP, if you're calling this as part of your first quarter follow-ups and you say, "Miss Smith, hey, I noticed you still have some out-of-pocket exposure with those hospital copays on your plan. I want to show you a way we can offset them during MAOEP or any other time throughout the year." You can have that conversation with them, build that relationship, check in, make sure they've got the all their plan documents and ID cards, all those sorts of things as well, and potentially make an upsell out of that as well. Contestant Gomez, I think you did perfect on our contest here today. You've won my undying gratitude for being the foil here. Um, so hope that feels pretty good inside. But as a kind of a the change in tack for a bit, just a few do's and don'ts to kind of recap what we've talked about here today for agents. Um, on the left side of your screen are all the do's, the things you can do during MAOEP. You can talk about the MAOEP when someone asks about it. You can give out information about OEP when someone asks about it as well. And it doesn't have to be an explicit ask. Like, it doesn't have to sound like, "I have heard about the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period and I want to make a plan change." It can be as simple as, "I'm not satisfied with the plan I'm in," or "this doctor or this drug is no longer covered the way I thought it would be." That's good enough of a green light to have the conversation here. You can market for other enrollment opportunities. So you can always market for agents no matter the time of year, those who are turning 65. You can market for SEPs. People move, change zip codes, change counties all the time, which changes their plan service area. You can market for those SEPs as well. People get divorced all the time. Um, Whatever the case might be, people lose coverage for a variety of reasons. You can market toward SEPs as well. And you can absolutely engage in your first quarter follow-up calls and meetings. You can have those calls, make some outreach, say, "Hey, did you get all your plan information? Is that plan working for you? Can we talk a little bit about a hospital indemnity or supplemental product to really fill some of the holes in that plan?" All of that is a-okay. What you can't do is listed for on the right side in as simple language as we can. You can't target the AEP to make additional sales. So if there's someone you missed during AEP, you can't reach out to them at this point. You can't use it as a point to, run advertising specifically for this period, either. You cannot bring it up in conversation without being asked or somehow given a green light for it, and nor can you use the OEP to catch up on anyone you missed during AEP either. The difference between the first and fourth bullet points are the fourth one is catching up on like your own book of business and who you might have missed. That first bullet is all about really not trying to poach other people that other agents might have missed during MAOEP as well. You can't use it for additional sales. Chelsea, anything to add on this slide before we push forward here?
It feels like I can just kind of be this like the same agent I normally am a lot of the time with when it comes to like advertising myself and being a good agent, just doing those Medicare 101s, having those advertisements out there, just as long as I'm not pretending like this is an extension on my essay that was due like the month before and trying to sneak more things in. Like it's a time where you can still kind of do what's best for your clients in a way where they might not may have made a decision they didn't understand, but it's not a time to like be full out there selling, I guess, is kind of how I always try to think of it. And then I always try to remind, if I were an agent, I'd always remind my clients, like, hey, you get one, this is your M&M, you only get one shot. Like, you don't get to switch again in MAOEP after the fact. Like, you don't get, like, you can't switch a third time when you forgot you take a pill or you forgot that you about your endocrinologist. You can't you can't switch again. So make sure you are 100% sure you get one chance. Yes, clients can change
No,
PDPs, right? Yeah.
no. So
No, I thought
it
they
no,
could.
no. It is built specifically for folks who are in Medicare Advantage plans. If you choose to leave your Medicare Advantage plan and return to original Medicare, you can pick up a PDP during this time, but there is no opportunity to change PDPs, standalone PDPs at this time without another enrollment reason like an SEP, moving service area, or something of the sort to change their PDP.
Oh, yes. Okay, I see what you're saying that way.
So, a few more really kind of concrete things to avoid in your marketing going forward. You cannot say anything like this, that's why it's in red up top instead of blue. You can't say anything like, are you unhappy with your new plan? Or did you know you can switch plans through March 31st? Or do you have buyer's remorse? I can help. None of those things are okay um, in terms of CMS marketing or marketing your own agency. All of those bring up the MAOEP indirectly, at least, in ways that are not compliant with CMS guidelines. But again, you can give information if a consumer does ask about it. So if they ask you something along the lines of, am I locked into my current plan? Or I'm not happy with the HMO I chose? Or is there anything else out there available in my county? That again is enough of a green light to say, well, yes, there is. Let's get the scope of appointment. Let's talk about the products you want to talk about. Um, but they can't, right? That's enough green light to have the conversation. By the way, a condition here, and just so we're clear on that, is this is not a time for someone to go from original Medicare into a Medicare Advantage plan for the first time. A condition of using this enrollment period is you have to have already had an Medicare Advantage plan active on January 1st of this year. So this is not a time for someone to go from MedSup to Medicare Advantage for the answer. This is only for changing your Medicare Advantage coverage or MAPD coverage.
But if you had a Medicare Advantage plan, you could go to original Medicare and then apply for a Med Sup, right?
Right. You'd still have to go
And
through
just have
underwriting.
underwriting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So that, ladies and gentlemen, in 25 minutes, and hopefully a little bit different format here, is a quick primer or primer rather on some rules here during MAOEP that we're all about to come into in the first of the year. Wanted to make sure you had enough, uh, advance notice and get some reminders of those marketing rules going forward, so that you stayed on the right side of the law in terms of CMS and whatnot going forward. Want to thank you for your time and attention here today. Again, we weren't here for a long time, just a good one, and hopefully you got some out of it, some fun out of it here today. You can always find us on LinkedIn at the Action Benefits Company. Email us at info@actionbenefits.com or contact anyone on our team on the main line at 248-356-8585. Chelsea, anything to say to the people before we say goodbye for the morning today?
No, just stay safe out there. And happy OEP if you celebrate that as well. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to contact us or your account managers for any support throughout the rest of OEP and then once we hit MAOEP.
Thank you all for the kind words you're sharing here as well. We try to do something a little bit different here today, and it looks like it paid off for a few of you. So thank you for that. Should also mention that tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel at 10 o'clock, we are talking a bit about what's CMS is proposing to change in contract year 2027. They're making some big changes to marketing rules. Like they want to get rid of the 48-hour rule for scopes of employment. They want to make sure you can collect apps at educational events. There would be no more gap between educational events and so on and so forth. We're happy to give you the full briefing tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You'll see the link to sign up as soon as you're done with this session here today. All that said, thank you all for your time and attention. Look forward to seeing you all again soon, and stay warm and stay safe out there.